Welcome to the R&R Show. Sit back and relax and enjoy the best sports show ever. I'm your host, Michael Roope, and on the other side of this camera is my co-host, William Rumsey. Hello, William.
Who day?
All right. Well, William and I thought we would get together on Halloween Eve to talk about our beloved Bengals, about the last week's big, impressive performance. A big injury on the Bengals front and the big game right in front of us tomorrow night.
That's some scary shit. Pun intended.
Scary. I mean, we got a lot of scary stuff happening. But obviously, the big news of the past week was one Jamar Chase going down with a big time injury. Obviously, it took a little bit of the wind out of everybody's sails because we were starting to hum offensively. But all is not lost. I think we have a deep enough receiving core where we can, withstand a couple weeks without Jamar, and maybe this will end up being a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you follow social media Bengals fans, it's always sky is falling when something bad happens. So, Jamar going out, obviously, maybe not the full sky is falling, but definitely a piece of it, just because, like you said, the last couple weeks, man, they looked like the offense of last year and what we thought that they would morph into this year, just rolling teams over, aerial assault, Jamar, deep bombs, and that's what we were hitting on. We were hitting on all cylinders, and injuries happen in the NFL. They got really lucky last year with their injuries or lack thereof. This year, they're taking on a few that hurt.
Still not that many, to be honest. Obviously, I think if Trey plays, that's going to be huge because the one team that seems to always have the Bengals number is the Browns, because what do? They run the ball. Mm-hmm. That is a big bugaboo typically for the Bengals defense, is people that are able to pound that rock and keep away from the high-powered offense. And then defensively with those ends that they have, like last year, the Bengals had a lot of problems with, guys coming off the edge and with Burrow. But before we talk about our Browns game, let's talk about last week's game. Boy, that's about as impressive as you could get offensively. Am I right, William?
Yes, definitely. I mean, the Falcons actually played pretty well. They gave up a few points at the end, but the Falcons defense played better. But last week, the Bengals just rolled over. I mean, whatever Burrow wanted, he got in that game.
Yep, and he was spreading it around nicely. I mean,
from the get-go, it wasn't like, let's struggle for a quarter and a half and then play catch. I mean, it was first drive, Boyd, deep tutty, and then they were off. And the Falcons just didn't know what to do, didn't know what to defend. And that's what we thought that we were going to see.
Yeah, and I really just think they could, we almost had, I believe, all three receivers over a hundo, and then continues to make good plays as well. So, offensively through the air, it's starting to click. Mm-hmm. It really just gets down to getting Burrow some time. And as the season has gone on, I think the worries are starting to subside a little bit offensively with that line, because I think as a whole, as a fan base, we could see that the gelling is starting to happen.
Well, they're pretty much going strictly shotgun now. I mean, very few plays are run from under center. You can just see that is what Burrow prefer. I don't know if that was Burrow going to Zach and Callahan just saying, I just want to be in shotgun. But for whatever reason, New Orleans game and last week against the Falcons, they've been strictly pretty much in shotgun outside of a few maybe goal line or things like that. So that's definitely a philosophical difference. I think Burrow gets more time to throw, and he sees the field better. He doesn't have to worry about turning his back to the defense, and he's just, surveying the field. And Burrow, his brain is the biggest part of his game is just tearing defenses apart. And when he gets a better look at everything, you obviously see the results. I'm excited. I mean, I just think that they've found something within their offense that I think that they can withstand the Chase injury for a little bit. I still think they're gonna ball out.
Yep, and I agree. And to be honest with you, the only part that's been missing this year offensively is in what I thought was going to be a very good part of the offense is that run game.
Mm-hmm.
It's buttering, but I'm telling you right now, as we jump forward to tomorrow night's game, they are going to have to run that ball because I think one way to beat Cleveland is running that ball. So this is going to be a big test for the Bengals offensively to see if they'll still be able to throw, but that the Browns' Achilles heel is the get running against them.
Yeah. Do you think now it seems to me like they are passing to set up the run instead of vice versa?
Well, yeah, I just think that they're just and I will say the Baltimore game they stuck with it a little. I just think that it's almost getting to the point where they're just like, let's let Joey B just go back there and we'll live and die with him.
Well, I mean the Saints defense just shut the Raiders out today. So it's not like they're just a rollover or a pushover. Burrow went in there and hung 30 on them. So something has changed the last couple of weeks, whether it be shotgun or whatever it is. They're firing on all cylinders. But we will see how Burrow can operate without Chase. He didn't do that all last year. I mean, Chase played every game. But Higgins is healthy. Boyd's healthy.
Higgins didn't. I don't believe he played every game last year, did he? I think he maybe.
He did not. He was out for a while, but I'm just saying Chase wasn't out.
When you have a Higgins in your lineup, I mean, it's not that far of a drop off for Chase. Of course, Chase is the alpha, but it's more of a 1A 1B type of duo between those. So I don't think it's going to hurt as much. Because obviously, but I think what we were starting to see is when you had all three of those in there, what's happening now? Because Higgins had missed quite a bit of time earlier in the season, starting to click. But I just don't think it's going to matter, hopefully, as much as we think.
No, but I think the one thing, the Chase dynamic, he can take a 5-yard out or a 10-yard out to the house. Higgins doesn't have that extra gear. Now, he's a deep threat. He's a deep threat, but that game-winning touchdown against the Saints, I mean, that was don't get me wrong, Burrow made a great pass, but it was Chase doing what Chase does down that sideline. So, I think like we've talked about Higgins, and I think Hayden Hurst has become a weapon. No excuses. They're going on the road. It's going to be a tough game. I don't think it's going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. But Burrow has proven time and time again he's primetime Burrow. It's not Andy Dalton that we're rolling out there on primetime. I mean, Burrow's won in the playoffs. He's won on primetime at night. They didn't have a great showing against Baltimore a couple weeks ago, but that I just don't think they were clicking at that point.
No. And bottom line is Burrow is just further and further away from his surgery, so he's feeling better. It was a perfect storm at the beginning of the year. A lot of new pieces offensively as far as the line, plus his appendectomy. So, I mean, it was just a perfect storm. Now we're starting to see, what they're capable of when all pieces are clicking.
Now, I do think that Logan Wilson is returning tomorrow night, so that's going to be a big boost for the defense. I think Hendrickson will play. We're not getting Reeder back, I don't believe, but I think he's coming down the track soon as well.
I tell you what, it's all hands on deck stopping this run because I truly believe if they stop the run tomorrow, Jacoby's not going to beat us through the air. It's almost the same recipe with like Lamar. I don't respect that passing game with Lamar in the same way with Jacoby. Let's all hands on deck. Let's stuff that run, make them beat you through the air, man them up, and just, bring another guy in the box to stop the run and see where we come out.
Well, and Cleveland's got a few pieces. They've got Njoku, who's been playing pretty dang. I mean, he hasn't been great the last couple of years, but he's been playing really well with Brissett that he's out. So they're banged up. They'll have Cooper, Chubb, Hunt.
And what we're going to I'm sorry, what did you say there? I had some background noise.
Yeah, no, I just said that, Njoku's out this game. He's going to be out for a while, but they still do have, Amari Cooper's played pretty well this year. They got Donovan Peoples-Jones. Um, I'm not, Kareem Hunt, Chubb. So that they have some pieces, but Brissett doesn't have the legs that Lamar does. So I completely and wholeheartedly agree with you. They shut down the run, they should be able to win the game. But Brissett's not. I mean, he's not just awful. He'll make a few plays in the passing game.
Former starter, even the season. I mean, he's not god awful, but he's definitely not Deshaun Watson.
And their season is on the line. They're 2-5. They're at home on a Monday night. That crowd is going to be rocking. I mean, it's going to be rocking.
I think they're reeling, and I tell you what, if they lose tomorrow, which I think we have all the pieces in place to make that happen, I think they may tank it for the season. I think that Stefanski, I don't think he's a very good coach, to be honest with you. And they've got enough personnel on that team for no reason for them to be in that position, even without.
I don't know, man. Yes and no. I don't think last year had to roll out Baker Mayfield. This year, Jacoby Brissett. I just don't think you can get a good read on him until he has a Watson or a good quarterback or whomever gets in there. Then you can judge him.
I don't know.
Well, it's Zach Taylor when he had to play with Dalton. I mean, the results weren't that good, but then when he started Burrow,
I don't think he's a good coach either.
Oh man, did you open up that can of worms?
Yeah, well, listen, I just his play calling's been better of late, but it's still not up to snuff. So, but
I've been pleased the last couple of games. So,
who I do love is our defensive coordinator,
Sweet Lou.
Oh man, he has been lights out, and I tell you what, the adjustments he always makes at halftime are top notch.
No touchdowns in the second half this year.
Do what?
No touchdowns in the second half allowed this year.
And quite frankly, that's just a carryover from last year. If you ever look at those games, every second half, it's just the Bengals that are making the right adjustments. And whatever they're doing at halftime always seems to work. So I gotta admit, I like what we're doing.
Yeah, and then last week they made a switch at Mr. Eli Apple. I think he's actually going to be hurt, and I don't think he's going to play. So the rookie Cam Taylor-Britt is going to make his. What'd you say?
I said I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, we took him in the second round, traded up to get him, so they're obviously high on him. I think he's played well. In the limited action that he's seen. This isn't going to be the biggest test for him. Knock on wood.
You know what? Bringing him in against the caliber quarterback of Jacoby is not a bad deal. I mean, I like it. I don't think the Browns have, the star power at receiver. Amari Cooper, I've never ever been truly impressed with him because he's always had a lot of drops, and he goes in more games about half the season. Half he does good, half the other half he's just throwing up 1-2 catches a game. So he's not a true alpha receiver. So I think it's a lot to bring Britt Taylor in to kind of ease him into action for when we get down to the Chiefs and the Bills. I mean, I think it's a good spot.
I agree. One other thing about the Browns that I think is pretty funny is that they drafted a kicker this year, and he has been real shaky. They were saying, "Oh, we're going to draft a kicker. He's going to be the new Money Mac," and he's missed some kicks.
Hey, anything but.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is a huge game. So, let's do a little prediction. Well, before we do the prediction, obviously we have the trade deadline getting ready to hit here in the next few. So what do you see the Bengals making any moves?
I don't.
Now, Bengals typically don't because, quite frankly, they don't have a GM. So they're always behind the gun. But I will tell you this. If there is a spot where I think maybe they would be wise to maybe beef up a little bit, would be that defensive line up the middle. Just getting their body in that rotation. It's always good to have a fresh rotation of guys. I just think maybe that would be wise to maybe, if there is one available that fits their scheme, I would say snag somebody.
Yeah, or if they can, an offensive lineman maybe. I mean, and most people have been saying wide receiver lately just because of the chase. But that's tough. That's tough to bring a receiver in from a different team in the middle of the year.
There because they're what's I mean that doesn't make sense because when Chase comes back, what are you going to have him as a fourth receiver? I mean that guy isn't going to want to do that. So I don't foresee that. I don't think Chase's injuries are going to be bad enough to sideline him any more than 4 weeks. To be honest. Yeah, because we got to have him for the big dog games coming down the stretch. So. Yeah. But again, if they make a trade, I say we just beef up at the D line a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So prediction time, William. What do we think?
What's the line? Actually, I don't give a shit about the line. Bengals 27-17.
27-17. I like it. It's going to be key for the Bengals. The key to the game to me is for the Bengals to get up early so we can play that run game. It's going to be a lot harder if they have that run game going and they're up early because then they can continue to lean on it. That's the $1 million question. But I do think the Bengals have recently have been getting out now early, whereas opposed they weren't earlier in the year. I think they get up early. And quite frankly, I think they imposed their will, William, to the tune of 31-10.
Oh shit!
Yeah, 31-10.
Man, that is.
They go into then the following week against the Panthers. They throttle them. They put up 42 against them. And then who's after that, William?
I have no idea. Is it the bye?
Bengals rolling.
If they do win, they'll be tied record-wise with the Ravens at 5-3 for first place in the AFC North. So they need to. It's not a must-win for the Bengals. It's not a must-win, but they need to win the game.
Yeah. Hey, you stay tied with the Ravens. You still have another game with them coming up. So all is right. I feel like we're rolling.
Is that the last game of the year? The Ravens game?
Yeah.
Now, did I hear through the grapevine you might be going to the Buccaneers-Bengals game?
I am.
Nice.
That should be fun.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Can we end on what the hell is going? What?
I said a passing of the torch, if you will.
The passing of the torch. Now, can I get you? I know this is very off base of our Bengals slant, but what the hell's going on with Tom Brady? And do you think he?
Don't worry about Tom. He's still making the playoffs, buddy. Although I was a little depressed that the Carolina Panthers did not pick off the Falcons because that would have really had it all jumbled to right where I'm still, right tied with everybody. But of course, they missed the extra point after the celebration by DJ Moore. And boy,
what's the Saints record?
Saints are like 3. I think they have 3 wins too.
Could you imagine if Andy Dalton
ends Tom Brady's reign?
Tom Brady.
Hey, I think all is going to be right. I think it weighed on Tommy Terrific's mind about get this posted out there about the divorce. Even though I just think it weighed. I think now that it's out there, that it's done, it's complete. I think things are going to start moving.
Unless Tom Brady broke his neck on the field of play, I never thought I would feel sorry for Tom Brady, but I actually do right now.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll press reserve for myself here.
Yeah.
But hey, guys, I'm excited. We're going to see if they are going to give us a trick or a treat tomorrow. But I'm pretty excited, thinking we're getting a treat from our beloved Bengals tomorrow.
What do you think Burrow wears at the stadium? You think he's going to come in a Halloween costume?
Ooh, man, that's $1 million question. I'm sure Joe Shiesty has something really special planned for him.
Wouldn't it be great if he came as one of the dog pound?
Yeah, that's pretty good. He likes when and you remember the little clip he had on one of those little things he did with the show where he said, the Ravens, they'd like to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I get, he likes that. I mean, that motivates him. He's he's a stone cold killer.
He's looking for an edge.
Fine is now giving him the time to show what he can do.
Yeah.
you made a point last week where that one guy had said he made 3 passes last week in that first half that basically nobody else could make.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally dropped them in the bucket, which it was just the precision is crazy with Joey B.
It really, Chase said that pass down the sideline over 2 defenders was the best throw Burrow's ever made.
Yeah.
I don't know how you decide, but the fact that Chase said that was pretty telling.
I mean, it damn well probably was. I mean, the way he dropped it, draped it right in the corner of the end zone, in the corner with 2 guys basically on him. I mean, that's money right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
we switched gears, went to Tom Brady. Now we're back to Burrow. It always goes back to Joe B.
Right, because Joey B gets my juices flowing.
He does. I like it.
He does. So, but we'll see. I think we're in for a treat tomorrow, but we will follow up next week and do a recap. What do you say, William?
Sounds good to me. Who day?
Good day.